Hi, welcome to American Dream Vacations. My name is Virgil and I'm going to be doing the orientation on Unit 1815. First we're going to start off with the keys. So let's walk over here to the door here. This black handle key locks and unlocks the door handle. And then this other key here locks and unlocks the deadbolt. And then this shiny key here that says 751 on it, it unlocks all the keys around the motorhome. This also unlocks keys on almost every RV in the country. So if you've got something important, don't leave it out here because everybody's got this key. And then finally, we've got this key here. Actually, and this does the engine. And then we've got this one key here, and this does the hood, so you can get in and check the fluid levels and things like that. Okay? So, we're going to start over here. You've got power mirrors that you control from the inside, and you also have side cameras on each side, and then you have rear cameras. So if you put your blinker on, you'll be able to see the traffic on the right side of you or the left side of you. Okay? You have your patio awning, which is power, and I'll show you how that works once we go inside. And don't leave your awning out overnight, and if it's windy or rainy, just make sure you close the awning. Okay? In here you got a storage compartment as well as the ladder that's for the overhead bunk, and then we'll talk about that a little later here. So and you got these catches right here that hold those compartment doors open. This deal here is designed to hold the entry door open if you like to hold it open, and there also is a screen door on there. Over here you have electrical outlets here. If you plug into electricity, they work, or if you have the generator going. This is the back side of the refrigerator. There's no reason for you to have to go in there. That's where you go in and do maintenance. You have a power step which opens and closes each time you open and close the door, or you can switch it to where it stays out all the time. And then you have another storage compartment here, as well as a DVD player that is under here that's for this TV outside here, okay? And the remote control should be inside here. Of course you need electricity in order to make these TVs work and the DVD player to work. So we're either talking about generator or being plugged in. And then you have another storage compartment here and a storage compartment here also. This ladder is on here, and it's for us to go up on top and to do inspections and to do maintenance on the roof, the air conditioning, and so forth. Okay? Your fuel field is in the very back of the RV. It uses regular unleaded fuel, and you also do have a hitch under there, and you can't tow, if we allow you to tow, you can't tow over 4,000 pounds. Okay? Over on this side, you've got your hot water heater, and it says hot, and it does get hot, and it puts heat out there. And this is your hot water heater. It's a 6-gallon hot water heater, and it works on propane or electricity, and there are switches inside that will show you how to turn that on. Okay, over here is you've got several different things. This is a cable hookup. This is where you're going to hook up your city water connection if you're at a campground. So what will happen is you'll take your 25-foot long freshwater hose, and you would screw it into here, and the other end of your water hose would go onto your faucet along with the water pressure regulator. Make sure you bring your regulator back. This is all part of the hose, so don't leave it on the faucet there. And this regulates the amount of water pressure that comes into the RV. This other inlet here, you would take your hose once again and put it in here and thread it like so, and then you fill up your fresh water tank. There's two ways of knowing if your tank is full. The overflow will start dumping water out underneath, or you can look at your monitor panel inside, and I'll show you there, and it will show you there where the water is full, okay? Down here, we're going to talk about dumping your tanks. This is where most people have all their anxiety about, is dumping the waste. So basically you have a couple of valves here. But what you want to do first is you remove the cap, and then you take your sewer hose and you attach it on, and you screw it on tightly, and then the other end of your hose will go down into the ground at your campsite. Once you're sure those are in place, then you pull this big valve right here, and this is called the toilet, or the black valve, and that's the toilet waste. You pull that straight out, and all your toilet waste is going to drain out of the hose down into the ground, into your sewer inlet. Once it's done, you shake your hose a little bit, and then you close that valve, and then you go over here to this gray one, and then you pull the gray one out. And the gray one is the sink and the shower water, and that water is going to rinse all of the toilet waste through your hose and into the sewage ground. Okay? And that's how you would dump your tanks. If you're staying at a campground and you have this hooked up, make sure you leave those valves closed. If you don't, then your solid waste will not flow freely through the hose. So make sure you leave those closed and go out and dump them as needed. Okay? All right. And once you're done, you close your valves and you remove your hose. Okay? Over here, you have your power cord. It's 25 feet long, and it's a 50 amp service. So, like I said, you have this electrical box in here. This cord needs to be plugged into something at all times. Either at your campground, it's plugged in there, or you plug this cord back into this outlet here. And the reason for that is when your generator is running, it sends all of the electricity to this outlet. If your cord is not plugged in like that, you will never get that power inside the coach. So remember that. Never leave this unplugged, either the pole or here. And we also provide you with several adapters. This one here is 50 amps on the end, and on the opposite end here, it's been reduced down to 30 amps. That's 30 amps right there. So 50 plug in, down to 30. This is a 15 amp adapter. The only reason you would plug this on here is if you just wanted to plug this up at your house or something like that and keep the battery charged, keep the fridge going. You cannot run the air conditioners when you have this 15 amp adapter on there. It'll trip the breaker at your RV or at the source, okay? So just to show you what that's all about. All right, put this back in here. So remember, keep that cord plugged into something at all times. Over here is your generator, and on your generator, you remove this cover because there's some things in here I need to show you. You got breakers and different places where you check the oil. So first of all, these are your breakers right here, and they should be in the on position. Okay, this is your start and stop button here, and this is where you would check your fuel at. Check your oil. So basically, you just unscrew the cap when the generator is off, and then you would just check it just like you would on your car. But the way you start the generator, you would push stop to prime it because this is a carbureted generator, and then you would push start. And that starts up your generator. And like I said, you can start it out here or you can start it from the inside. But you still have the same way you have to start. You have to push stop, prime the generator first, and then push start, and then that'll start up the generator. And to put your cover back on, if you would, you have to basically put the bottom in first. There's a little lip down there. You put the bottom in first and you make sure she's in there snug, and then you push and you pop it into place and you pull on it to make sure she's back firmly in place. Okay? And that's how your generator starts and so forth. And over here you've got your propane tank. As you can see, there are several things on this tank. You have your indicator showing this is full of propane, and this yellow cap is where you would remove that in order to fill it with propane. And that will be done at your cost. We send you out with at least a half a tank of propane. If you need more, it's up to you to buy more, but that's where you fill it at. And then this one valve here shuts off the propane if you should need to close off the tank. If you shut the tank, if you close the valve clockwise, no propane will be able to go out to the different appliances. Propane works the hot water heater, the stove, the furnace, and the refrigerator. All those things run on propane. And then over here, we have your pump that works the slide outs and leveling jacks and things like that, okay? Once again, we have your mirrors, your power mirrors, and then we have your side camera here. And if we move around to the front here, we talked about that key. That's what would unlock this right here so you could access, your fluids. We've already checked all those things. Everything is at the specs it should be at, but we do suggest that you check the oil and fluid when you're out, when you're traveling, okay? All right. That's pretty much it for the outside. We'll move on to the inside. Thank you.